Hello everyone, and welcome to From the Heart Friday, session 128 with me, Jessica Brigden of DSP, Creative Cardiology. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me. So happy Friday to you. I hope that you are all safe and warm and cozy. We had quite a bit of snow. We actually got about probably 10 inches at our house last night. It has been snowing, nice big fluffy flakes all day today. So we probably got at least another couple of inches. So we're definitely over a foot at our house. Hey Kim, hey Philomena. Hope you guys are doing well. Kim had to shovel herself out this morning. So I'm so sorry, Kim. I'm glad that you are safe and sound though. Hey Janelle. Janelle's cozy with two puppies on her lap. Yes, safe and warm. Good to hear from you guys. So yeah, so I'm going to show you some super simple cards. It's a Friday, so whether you have been cozying up inside or you have been outside playing in the snow. I know my husband, you think he hears snow. Whew, it's like a kid with a snow day, right? He's been working, but out there with a shovel this morning, you know, unburying the cars. Yeah, he's like a kid. Never seen anybody enjoy shoveling so much, but hey Pam, you caught me live. How are things down south? Yeah, so was it last week or the week before? The south got a little bit of snow and a bunch of ice, and I guess this weekend it was our turn here in New York. So crazy weather, but yes, it's Friday, and whether you're just relaxed and things are going well or you're just kind of scrambling around, I've got some super simple cards for you with what I would call my favorite designer paper and the mini catalog, and that is the New Horizons paper pack. Now, I'm not usually a fan so much of the 6x6 stacks, but check out the gorgeous watercolors of these paper packs. I mean, they're so pretty, all these different landscapes and all these gorgeous colors. Oh, so pretty. The back sides are just as nice. You've got all kinds of watercolor blends in different shades. It's just really beautiful paper. Absolutely love it. And so I'm going to show you some simple ways to use it and perhaps maximize, right? Like Kylie says, love it, chop it. But you see this beautiful page and you think, oh my gosh, I don't want to dare use it. But I'm going to show you a technique where you can essentially cut your paper into a grid. So you could get 4 3x3 squares from each paper. We're going to mount that on some contrasting cardstock and then card base. Super simple. You can make a lot of cards that way and really stretch this beautiful paper. We are going to punch it up. We're going to add a couple punches. So because we have these gorgeous horizon watercolor landscapes, we're going to use the new sailboat punch. I don't know if you guys noticed that was in there. So we have a sailboat punch, which is pretty cool. And then on one of the cards, as a tribute to cold, snowy weather we're having, we are going to pull in our Grassy Grove bundle, and we're going to die cut these stamped trees as an accent for the other card. But otherwise, really quick and simple. So let me flip the camera. We will get right into it. We are already here in February, which is crazy. So I do have the February host code, got my printer ink, and so I was able to print out a little flyer here for my desktop. So our February host code, BCXKPM3G. If you'd like to place an order associated with my host code, I send you my tutorials, send little gifts, all kinds of cute stuff. So yeah, so this is the New Horizons suite. It is on pages 42 and 43 here of the mini catalog. We're going to focus primarily on the New Horizons Designer Series paper stack. Hi, Wendy. Yes, we are keeping warm. The snow is beautiful, but that is in part because I have not had to be out in it. So, so for those of you that had to work outside the home today, my thoughts are with you, and please drive safe. And yeah, be careful out there because the roads are not nice out here. All right, so like I said, we are starting super simple because this gorgeous paper and all these different landscapes and things are just really the star of the show. So for this first card, we are going to do a card base of Misty Moonlight. So it's 5.5 by 8.5, it's just a half sheet here. And my super simple technique is essentially you take your 6 by 6 paper stack and you could cut this into 4 3 by 3 pieces. Another way to do that too, so I did cheat a little bit today and I pulled in my old stitched shaped framelits. So for any of you that have been stamping for a little while, all right, you guys know this is like the ultimate set because it had our squares, our circles, and our ovals. And if you've been a customer of mine for a while, then I know you have these. And I couldn't just not pull them out because I'm using this particular pattern. And I really wanted this little middle section. I wanted the horizon of the water and a little bit of trees and some sky. So I cheated a little bit. I didn't go into 4 pieces. I didn't cut them into 3 by 3. This particular die is about 2.5, 2 5/8 inches is what the die cut does. But that is what I did here. So when I cut that out, all right, I got this really pretty little piece here. And I still have the whole sheet. The reason I used the die, I wanted that particular section and I didn't want to have to cut my whole piece yet because I hadn't quite decided what I was going to do with the rest of it. All right, so here's the simple part. Grab a contrasting darker color of cardstock. This, because the die was like 2 5/8, this is 3 by 3. I wanted a nice border, so it's slightly more than 1/4 inch, but that is what we wanted here. It looks like I've been crafting in the kitchen and forgot to grab my adhesive, so let me grab a new case and a Stampin' Seal refill here in the craft room so that I can assemble these cards. I always like to make sure you keep some refills on hand. All right, there we go. So we are just going to get this, there we go, prime our Stampin' Seal there, get that going. Adhere this onto our 3 by 3 square of Night of Navy. So Night of Navy and Misty Moonlight. And you guys know the Misty Moonlight is my favorite, one of my favorite shades of blue. And it is retiring this spring. So make sure, grab an extra package of the Misty Moonlight cardstock. Make sure you get an ink refill for your ink pad. Yeah, don't be left without any of your Misty Moonlight. It's such a beautiful color. All right, so that's pretty much what we're going to do. Super duper quick and simple. All right, we're going to adhere this right onto the front. Can you see how many cards that you could make with just your card base, your squares of darker colored cardstock, and then your little die cuts from the New Horizons paper? Super duper pretty. Hi, Michelle. Welcome. Yeah, so with this, if you want to step it up, we can bring in our Let's Sail bundle. So this has essentially the pieces for the sailboat, or you could also just use your punch and pop them out. I have gone ahead. What I did, a little tip for this, is that to place these pieces, place the stamps all on one block. This is the D block, so that you can have them all lined up and punch them out all at the same time. First you punch. All right, we're gonna do, this is a little unusual because the boat is kind of at an angle here. So we're gonna come in from the side of our cardstock, and then I punched out the hole. So then what I did is I put this down, laid my stamps over top, all right, and then put the block on here so that I could have them all lined up so that when I get ready to stamp, I'm going to use Night of Navy for this. All right, that way I can have all three, the boat and the sails, all on the same stamp here. Okay. And stamp them all at the same time. And then punch them out here at the same time. Okay. All right, so that does the 3 pieces that you need for your sailboat. Okay, so this has got quite a bit of white contrast. Hey, Lori, glad you could join us. I want to tone it down just a little bit. So I'm going to take that Misty Moonlight along with my little sponge dauber, and I'm going to sponge the edges of my sailboat because I didn't want that quite such a stark white here. All right, so I'm going to add just a little bit of color. My fingers are definitely going to be inky from doing this piece. We're going to do the sails too. Go ahead and just brush a little bit of ink here on the sails. All right, so this first card, obviously, here we are in a snowstorm and I'm doing sailboat cards. I think I have a little bit of cabin fever. I feel like February and March are the hardest months because winter has truly settled in and it's just cold. And I am ready to be somewhere else. I am ready to be at the beach. So I think that's why I'm thinking sailboat with this. But we will do a little more seasonal card with trees for the next one. All right, I've got dimensionals on those sails, and let me see, I got some little minis for the bottom of my sailboat here. All right, so we'll just pick these off real quick. And we're gonna line this. I'm gonna do it right on the edge of my piece. So not, the boat is in the water. That's what's happening here, okay? I'm not putting it right on the horizon. I want the boat is in the water. So that's why I've done this there. There we go. And then line this up just so. Okay, did I get it right? There we go. All right, so now we have the boat in the water, and we can grab a sentiment here. I actually, I need to retire my card. My uncle just retired from his job, so they like to do all things outdoor, adventure, all kinds of fun stuff. So this might be a nice, cute, simple, kind of masculine card for him. Yeah, I think they'll like that. Again, super simple. Card base, a 3x3 layer of cardstock, my stitched shapes square, and then punched out our sailboat. Really can't get any simpler than that. And how nice does that boat look on the sailing through the harbor there? And that gorgeous New Horizons paper. Okay, so let's go in a little bit different direction with this. We are going to keep kind of the same base elements here. We're going to shift colors. And so for this next card, I've got everything stacked here. This next card, we are using Soft Succulent. All right, again, super pretty, 5.5 by 8.5. And just gonna fold this into 4 1/4. So sometimes we need some quick cards, and this paper is the showcase. So just keep it simple, natural, and don't overcomplicate it. We can just make nice, quick cards with this. I mean, there are a lot of ways you can step it up, but for now, for today. For Friday, we're just going to keep it simple. All right, so similar elements this time, because I'm doing trees. I grabbed this pattern of the paper. I wanted, to me it looks a little snowier. We've got some darker shades of green, kinds of blue. We've got some white mixed in here, which to me is like snow on the landscape there. So again, pop that out with my stitched rectangle die. If you don't have the stitched rectangles, or excuse me, squares, the stitched shapes, which I think most of you who are on here with me live have these in your collections. If you don't, then don't worry about it. Just divide your paper into quarters. Do squares of that to maximize your paper. Okay, we again doing tone on tone. Our card base was soft succulent, so our contrast layer here is evening evergreen, and because our die cut shape here is about 2 5/8, I went 3 by 3 on the evening evergreen layer there. And isn't that backside is so pretty too? Yeah. Okay, so got that right on here. All right, so I am gonna step this up just a little bit. Okay, you could totally keep with what we're doing, or if you want, grab an extra layer, just a 4 by 5 1/4 inch layer of the same color as your base. This time I am using the Evergreen Forest 3D embossing folder. We actually have several kind of tree or wood grain embossing folders currently in the catalog. There's a pine needles folder. Any of them would work. I chose to do Evergreen Forest, and but any of them that you have would work. And if you stick this in your embossing folder, of course, make sure the trees are pointing in the right direction. That's why we've got this nice little line here on the folder to help line things up so your trees aren't growing crooked. All right, this is a 3D folder, so if you are using your Big Shot or your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you're going to use your base, no tabs, just your base, and then you're going to use your 3D plate. In the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, this is the gray plate number 4 that goes on top. So your base and then plate 4 on top. And then you get this nice look with the trees. Isn't that cool? Just these nice trees on here, and I thought that just added just a little extra something. I actually like both sides of the embossing here on this folder, so you really could use either one. All right, but just keeping it simple. Again, I just did tone on tone, same color as my card base. It was 4 by 5 1/4. All right, and then we'll come in with our little layer here. All right. Yes, thank you guys. I'm glad you like these cards. Sometimes, you know, we think, it's super duper simple, but sometimes those are the best, right? Because they don't take forever and a day to make. All right, so I next invite you to grab a scrap of some basic white. I am going to pull in the Grassy Grove stamp set, and I want to use the trees here. There's a couple different sets that you could use this. You could use Mountain Air, has some taller trees that would work with that. That's in the annual catalog. Grassy Grove is here in the mini catalog. And just the sentiments and the other elements here work really nice with this New Horizons paper. So we are taking our trees. I'm going to stamp them in the evening evergreen. Or, you know, even if you have like the pine tree punch or something, you could do that here too. Whatever works for you. Let me, like I said, I'm just using a scrap piece here. You can see I've already die cut some different shapes from it and things. I keep all of my decent sized scraps that have a spot big enough for a stamp or a punch or something. Always keep those. And then this one has, from the Grassy Grove bundle, has this little die cut that will cut out our trees. So we'll run that through. And here we go, we have our trees. And again, I feel like it's just a little too much white space. So I'm gonna bring in my soft succulent ink pad. And again, my sponge daubers. Treat my sponge daubers here. I've got a little row lined up for my different colors. I don't always keep them out like this, but I was working on another project too. But you can see blues, purples, red, kind of yellows. I think that was my evergreen. That was like a dark one. And then this is my light green. So rather than have one for every single color, I tend to do one for kind of your blues, your purples, your reds, kind of like I do my blending brushes. Same thing. I've got ones for my yellows, my blues, my shades of purples, and I have another one somewhere here that's for my like pinks and reds. All right, so you don't have to have one for every color. And I think whether it's with your blending brushes or even your sponge daubers, you can actually rinse these out in the sink just to get out some of the excess ink. And then you don't have to worry about your colors transferring from one project to the other. But again, you could just use one for each shade as opposed to every color here. So I'm going to sponge this on here. I just didn't want it quite so white. And actually, I think I'm going to bring in my scrap mat here and just, I don't want circles from the dauber on my, so you can see I'm moving it in a circular motion. You could do the same thing with your blending brushes. I actually don't have a green blending brush at the moment, so just don't go dab, 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 because you will end up with visible circles. So make sure that you keep it moving when you do that. All right, so that way we still have the prettiness of those trees, but again, I didn't like thought it was just too much white. All right, and the dimensionals fit on here. So let's go ahead and put a couple. All right, well, this will definitely stick well. 4 dimensionals for this little project. Oh, well. I won't have to worry about this coming undone. All right, and then doing this over here too. Just lining it up. I think I'm gonna go kind of off the edge a little bit there on the left. All right, and then we do need a sentiment. I'll have to see. I probably should have stamped my sentiment first or done something a little bit different. But in this Grassy Grove bundle, this is a nice one. Sometimes you need to know that someone really cares. So not exactly a sympathy card, but a little more than a thinking of you. Just, yeah, times are tough right now. So I'm going to come in here with my evening evergreen. And let's see, I'm going to try not to ruin this. Let's see here. You know what? I think I'm going to stamp this right on my probably should have done that before. I'm not sure if this is going to be a little too rough. All right, let's go for it. And if it doesn't work, then it's a lesson in what not to do. Yeah, that didn't really work. Okay, not my favorite. Pretend I didn't do that. Okay. Hey, Marianne, how are you? Okay, so we're going to pretend I didn't do that. We're going to stamp up here. And technically, if you're going to stamp on your card, you probably should have done that before we glued it together. But, okay. At least that's a little bit visible. So what I'll do is when we're done with the video, I will take my other panel, emboss it, and I will just peel this up. So you don't have to, don't throw your card away. You know, we can always fix things. Sometimes in this case, what I'll end up doing is I will pop this off, okay, and then I will swap out my layer, okay. Sometimes you can add a die cut or something else down here. In this case, because it's right on there, I think I'm actually gonna swap it out and just replace my layer here. All right, if you have trouble getting your cards unstuck, sometimes you can use a little piece of like dental floss. That helps to kind of get in there and get under that adhesive. And actually, the card base is in pretty good shape. So what I'm gonna do, and actually my die cut machine is out in the other room, but I will re-emboss my soft succulent layer and put that on here. There you go. So there's your trial and error, what to do, what not to do. Sometimes, yeah, card making is a little bit of an experiment. Don't be afraid. It's stamps, paper, and ink. It's not the end of the world if you mess something up. There's always a creative opportunity and a way to fix it. So, but nonetheless, I do think these came out really cute. We have been using our New Horizons 6x6 paper stack. All right, it's really, really beautiful. We have taken 2 5/8 inch sections of little squares of the different patterns of the paper. We mounted those on a darker color of cardstock. These are 3x3. And then we have our card base. So we added a punch, a die cut, sentiment, but really quick and cute. On this one, originally I had done an embossed layer. Ended up taking that off because I didn't like what I did. I'm going to re-emboss and put the layer back on. So that is a way to step that up if you want to add an extra little step. But nonetheless, this is the New Horizons suite here. This paper is found on page 43 of your mini catalog. And then the Grassy Grove bundle is just a couple pages over on page 47. Again, we'll play with this again because there's some really pretty cards. For example, this one was inspired by my team member Doris. And this is the Grassy Grove. I'll have to make this card because it's just a half sheet of basic black cardstock folded in half. We die cut the treescape here, just right out of the front of the card, and then we layered on that New Horizons paper for our background. Die cut the deer, stamped him inside. It's like a little Bambi card. Isn't that cute? So that's a way, again, you can step things up a little bit, but again, pretty simple there. And then the sailboat is on page 70 back here. And again, you can do the stamp set with the sentiments, or you can just get the punch itself. All right, so those are the elements I use. I will put those in the video description here later so you can find those. And that's it. Keeping it quick and simple for you on this snowy Friday. Hope that you are all doing well. Hello, Sue. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, I hope you've really like these cards. I hope you'll give them a try. Don't wait on the paper pack and the Grassy Grove, all of these things. Currently here, at least in the US, inventory, we've been doing really, really well. But things are starting to dwindle a little bit. So right now, currently, the only items that we're really out of at the moment are the iridescent rhinestones and the rainbow, the rainbow bundle are currently unavailable until the end of February. The windmill dies for the tulip suite, those are on low inventory, so if that's on your list, you might want to get those because otherwise it could be, again, sometime March or later before those get back in stock. And again, this paper is so beautiful that you're definitely going to want a couple packs of the New Horizons paper because it literally goes from everything. Get your trees and your sailboats and anything in between. So many different landscapes you could do. So stay safe and warm. Happy stamping. There we go for the host code. Don't forget to thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, all of that good stuff. I really appreciate your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great weekend, and we'll be stamping with you again soon. All right, everyone, take care. Bye-bye.